Hello and welcome to a brand new installment on the Benjammies channel. My name is Benjammies and I'm currently wearing jammies, and I invite you to wear yours as well. Now today we're going to start a brand new series on this channel. We're going to be covering some simple and fun and useful contraptions that I believe are sure to improve your Minecraft experience. Now today we're going to start with hidden piston doors. No buttons allowed except for maybe on that one. We're going to cover a flush side panel door that'll open up like that. We're going to cover one pointing down that lets you downwards into your base or something, or wherever you want to go. And then we're going to cover one that's going to bring you up through the ground from your base, or wherever you decide to put this. I think all three of these each have many uses in survival world, or even a creative world, or a server, or anything like that. And I just think they're really fun, and I wanted to share some of these prototypes with you. Alright, we're going to start with the sideways paneled door. Now, this one is pretty neat because it kind of has like a pretty low profile, so you can hide it in like the side of a hill or something, and it's just really fun. You can activate it with redstone, so you have an array of buttons. You can also activate it with an observer if you so desire to have it a little bit more hidden. So let's get right into the design. Now, the first thing we're going to do is just kind of outline a basic door shape, just so we know what to work off of for reference. And then you want your blocks for the door. I'm just choosing orange wool because it's very easy to see. We want to go directly behind this and ideally have some kind of immovable block. You can also use furnaces if you want. I found that obsidian's just easier to deal with. You don't have to work with crafting or anything. And then you're going to place your slime blocks just right where the doorway is. Then we're going to place a piston facing in this way, but separated by one block on this side. Then we're going to come over here and place a piston right there, spaced one away from this whole line. Then we want to work on our input. So I put an observer right here. That's just going to be facing there. So whenever we update this block, it's going to have a little redstone pulse there. You see that? Then we're going to have our little delay circuit area. Make this a 2x4 area. And then on this 2x4 area, we're just going to place a block right there and delete that one underneath it. So we have this little raised area here. Immediately coming out of the observer's output, we're going to place a repeater with a 2-tick delay on it just to help latch onto that signal. And then we're going to place redstone here, here, and here. And then we're going to place a comparator facing into this block, and then another one facing the opposite way right next to it. Place a block on top of the comparator, and then one bridged up from there. Put some redstone dust right there. And then a torch on the side of this block, and that's going to immediately push the pistons. You can kind of see how this is about to work here. So right beside the slime block here, we're going to place a 2x2 square of obsidian or some other immovable block. Then we're going to place 2 blocks right on top of the slime block, and then one off to the right here. Then I'm just going to kind of extend this pathway here. We can extend these out, and I'm going to want to place an obsidian block right there, elevated up. Then we can start placing stone right after that obsidian there. And then we can encompass the top with a little bit of stone or a block of your choosing, so we have a fully encompassed pathway. Place a block right above the redstone torch, and then one behind it back here, and then one right below that one that we just placed. So we're going to end up with this little O shape. Then we're going to head on over to this piston here and place 3 blocks next to it. Then we're going to place a repeater going into this piston set to a 2-tick delay. And then we're going to take redstone out of it and connect it all the way up back to this redstone torch so this line is powered. Now at this point, you should have a functioning piston door, so we just update that block that the observer's in front of, and we can just walk through it and it shuts behind us. The only thing is we can't get back out. That's kind of a problem. I'm going to just take a pressure plate and place it with a 1 block gap in between here and the piston that's right there. And then over from the clock circuit, we're going to place one right over here and just kind of loop it back around and connect it right up to the circuit. So now, when we hit the pressure plate, that line should power and open our door for us. If you want to add a button to the outside, we'll show you how to do that here. So what you're going to do is take a block right here and place it next to this observer, and then you just want to wire redstone all the way up over the observer onto this obsidian. And now what we can do is you can put a button here, or both if you really want, and it will connect back to this line that you see right there. You can also place one on top if you want, and then just run this line up over this obsidian just 1 block further. Alright, moving right along to the next design. Ideally, you'd kind of want to set a space that's at least 4 blocks above any kind of build that you may have or any other circuitry. Then we're going to define a block that's going to be the block that gets pulled from under our feet, and I'm just going to say the center one for simplicity. And then right underneath that, we're going to place a slime block. 2 blocks underneath that, we're going to place a sticky piston facing upwards. 2 blocks over from that one, we're going to place a sticky piston pointing towards this T intersection. We're going to go 2 blocks over and place an observer looking upward into this floor block. So you have something that looks a little bit like this. So right underneath that observer, we're going to place a block, and then right underneath and to the side of that block that we just placed, we're going to place our familiar 2x4 platform. And then in the corner, we're going to place an elevated block, and then underneath, we're going to place another block and cut out the center block. So we have something that looks a little bit like this. And then this block right in the corner here is unnecessary, so we can delete it. We're going to place a repeater coming out from this observer output and place it at a 2-tick delay. And then we're going to place 3 redstone in this formation here, a comparator facing this block, and a comparator facing away from this block. And then right underneath in this little gap we made, we're going to place 1 redstone dust. And then coming off from that on the side, we're going to place a redstone torch. Kind of below and to the side of this piston, right off of that comparator, we're going to place a block, and then we're going to place another block right up to above that redstone torch. And then we're going to place a block kind of coming down, so we have this little staircase. From that block, we're going to come over 2 and then up to this piston and place 1. So we have this little kind of gummy worm shape. Right underneath the aforementioned gummy worm, we're going to place a block, and then we can start placing our redstone. So we're just going to connect a line going from the torch all the way over to this piston. You're going to see it shoot up, and then we're going to place some redstone dust on top of this block, and then a 2-tick delay repeater going into this sticky piston. Right here on top of this redstone dust needs to be a transparent block of sorts. You can use glass or leaves or glowstone. Either way, we're going to put a piece of redstone dust on top of that. With that, our piston door is complete, so we can come over here, update this block, and fall right on through our lovely contraption. Here you can kind of get stuck or smash out some of the circuitry, so we don't want that. So you're going to come over from all of this circuitry on this side of the slime block and place 2 obsidian going down, and then on this side we're going to do the same thing, as well as this side. You could just put some glass over here, or have something nice. Be sure to leave this block next to the piston open, because that's where it's going to travel. But yeah, you can just make a little like chute going down for a nice easy ledgeless fall. There we go. And I can't get out. And now to kind of illustrate the point that I'm making with all these delays in here, this should ideally give you enough time to, even with like a wooden shovel or something, you can really take your time and dig up the sand, and you'll still have time to come through without the door pinching you as you come down. So that's the second design done. We are really racing through these. Now on to my personal favorite of the bunch, the launcher door. So I'm going to go up 9 blocks here and kind of create a little area for me to work with. And as you know, we'll pick a block to kind of place down. I'm just going to use this center block for simplicity. We're going to start much in the same way as the last one by placing a slime block right underneath it, placing a piston with a sticky piston facing upward with a little gap. And then we're going to come over here and place a piston coming into this T-junction. And the direction that piston is coming from is going to be kind of where your entrance to this is going to come from. So you're going to walk in here underneath this and then get launched up through there. And then finding the center here again, we're going to go with a 2-block gap and place a slime block on the floor. And that will be the one that you step on to get launched by. And then directly underneath it, we're going to place a sticky piston. And out from this slime block, I'm going to place a block of obsidian. Right next to this obsidian, we're going to place any block of your choosing with the pressure plate on top of it. And this is what we're going to use. We're going to step on to launch ourselves into our contraption here. We're going to place a block with a gap in between here and the pressure plate and bridge this out 3 and then build it up in a staircase by 2. And then right underneath this L that we just created, we're going to make another L kind of facing out like this. And then underneath this piston, we're going to place a block and then another one to kind of connect it up with that L. All right, that's the setup for the timing circuit. Now we're going to place some redstone right along there and coming up to a redstone torch that's placed on top of that block. Then we're going to place the delay for the firing piston right over here. So we're just going to place a few repeaters right there, connect it up with some redstone dust and then another redstone dust. And we're going to set these 2 repeaters to the full 4-tick delay and then this one to a 2-tick delay. Right above the redstone torch here, we're going to place a block right next to this piston, and then we're going to staircase up one, and then kind of make a little mini L going into the other piston. And this one is familiarly going to have a 2-tick delay, and then we're just going to connect it all up right there so it freaks me out a little. And by now we should have a working prototype, so we just walk in here and get launched up, and the block comes and keeps us supported on the ground. Now to kind of polish it up and make sure we don't hit anything on our way up, we are going to place obsidian on 3 sides, and then we can place a block of our choosing. I'm liking glass. We can come up all the way to the base of this piston, and then we place 2 obsidian on the sides of the slime block on the side and back, and then we can place 1 up here as well. And then coming out from over here, we can just line this whole contraption with a block of our choosing if we want to have a pathway leading into this. And now we should be able to walk or sprint through that pathway and get shot up right through the hole. Alright, well that's going to conclude our piston door segment here for this episode. Leave a comment down below on anything you want to see me cover in future episodes in this series, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Have a good one.